The Galactic Assembly Hall was built for giants. Its ceiling stretched higher than city towers. Massive banners of alien empires hung in the air, glowing with shifting colors. Hundreds of species filled the chamber, towering warriors with thick armor, insect lords with sharp limbs, stone-skinned generals who had crushed entire worlds. This was where strong races spoke, where weak ones stayed silent. So when the human woman walked in, the laughter began almost at once. She was small, very small. She barely reached the chest level of most beings in the hall. Her body had no armor plates, no glowing shields, no visible weapons. She wore a simple dark uniform with a small symbol on her chest, Earth's mark. Some aliens leaned forward, staring in disbelief. Others laughed openly. A tall reptilian commander clicked his tongue. "That is a soldier?" he said loudly. "A child could break her." A heavy insect queen buzzed with amusement. "Is Earth sending pets now?" More laughter rolled through the hall like thunder. A group of armored giants banged their weapons on the floor in mock applause. One of them shouted, "Careful! She might bite our ankles." The sound echoed, cruel, endless, but the human woman did not react. Her name was Captain Mara Hawley. She walked forward slowly, her boots tapping against the polished floor. Her face showed no fear, no anger. She did not bow. She did not raise her voice. She simply stood at the center of the assembly, alone among monsters. The laughter continued. An alien counselor waved a claw lazily. "Human," he said, bored. "Why are you here?" Mara looked up at the many faces staring down at her. "I am here," she said calmly, "to speak for Earth." That only made it worse. More laughter. Louder this time. "Earth?" Someone scoffed. "The dirt planet? The one with weak gravity and soft bodies?" A sharp-voiced alien from the back shouted, "Your world is barely on the charts." Mara waited. She had been trained for this. She had expected this. The laughter slowly faded, not because of respect, but because the aliens grew tired of mocking her. One alien officer, a thin blue skin being covered in data implants, stepped forward. He did not laugh. He looked curious. "Let us at least see their records," he said casually. "For entertainment." He lifted his wrist and pulled up a floating screen. Earth's planetary data appeared above the hall. At first, nothing seemed special. Population numbers, atmosphere type, technology level. The officer smirked. "See?" he said. "Nothing impressive." But then his eyes paused. His fingers slowed. His smile faded. A small symbol blinked at the edge of the screen. Yellow, then orange, then red. The officer leaned closer. "What is this?" he muttered. He expanded the file. The symbol grew larger, sharper. A warning icon spread across the display. "Hazard rating, 15. The officer froze. The laughter stopped. One by one, the aliens noticed the silence and turned their eyes to the screen. The hall became quiet. Too quiet. A stone-skinned warlord frowned. "That cannot be correct," he growled. "Hazard 15 is for death worlds." Another alien hissed, uneasy. "War worlds do not even go that high." Murmurs spread through the chamber. "Is it a mistake? Who approved this? What makes that small planet so dangerous?" The officer swallowed. I did not change anything," he said. "This is the official rating." All eyes slowly turned back to the human woman. Mara stood exactly where she had been before. Calm, still, silent. "You must explain this," demanded a council leader, his voice tense now. "Why is your planet marked like this?" Mara opened her mouth to speak, and then the floor vibrated. A deep, low hum rolled through the assembly hall. Lights flickered. A sharp alarm tone cut through the silence. Once, twice, then faster. Red warning lights flashed across the walls. An automated voice echoed overhead. Attention. Unscheduled energy signatures detected near Galactic Station 7. The aliens shouted in confusion. What is happening? Who triggered the alert? Is this an attack? Mara slowly lifted her eyes to the flashing lights. Her expression did not change. She already knew. The officer checked his display again, panic rising in his voice. Multiple ships, he said. Unknown origin. Moving fast. The reptilian commander snapped his jaws. Are they heading here? The officer hesitated. No, he said quietly. They are heading toward Earth. The hall exploded with noise, shouts, commands, angry questions. Someone turned toward Mara, fury in their eyes. Is this your doing? They demanded. Mara finally spoke again. Her voice was soft, but it carried. No, she said. This is the result of you laughing. The alarms grew louder. And for the first time, the Galactic Assembly felt something new. Not amusement, not pride, but fear. The alarms continued to scream through the Galactic Assembly Hall. Red lights painted every face claws. Scales, metal armor, stone skin. What had once been a place of power now felt fragile, exposed. The laughter from moments earlier felt distant, almost embarrassing. An alien counselor slammed a claw against his platform. Silence. He roared. The noise faded, but tension remained thick in the air. All eyes turned back to Captain Mara Hawley. She stood alone, small against the towering figures around her. But now, no one laughed. No one joked. The word hazard level 15 still glowed in their minds like a wound. A tall avian commander spread his wings, feathers trembling. You will explain this, he demanded. Now, Mara nodded once. You looked at Earth, she said calmly, and you saw size. Soft skin, no claws. She took a slow breath. You did not look deeper. A massive armored general crossed his arms. Our records show your weapons are outdated, he said. Your ships are weaker than ours. Your defenses are thin. Mara met his gaze. That is correct, she said. Confusion rippled through the chamber. Then why the hazard rating? Another alien snapped. Why mark your planet above death worlds? Mara turned slightly, facing the floating data screen. Because hazard ratings are not about comfort, she said. They are about survival. She lifted her hand. Images appeared. A burning desert world. Frozen tundra stretching forever. Crowded cities under polluted skies. These are Earth environments, she said. Places humans live every day. The insect queen tilted her head. Many species adapt to harsh worlds. Mara nodded. Yes, some adapt. Her voice hardened just a little. Humans endure. The screen shifted again. Numbers scrolled fast. Earth has higher gravity than most council worlds, Mara continued. Our bodies are under constant strain. Our bones grow dense. Our muscles grow strong. A murmur spread. She went on. Our planet is unstable. Storms that tear cities apart. Quakes that level mountains. Diseases that change every year. The reptilian commander narrowed his eyes. And yet you survive, he said slowly. Yes, Mara replied. We survive. And we remember. The screen changed again. This time, the images were darker. War zones. Broken cities. Soldiers carrying wounded civilians. The room grew uncomfortable. We fight each other, Mara said. We always have. And every war teaches us something new. A stone-skinned warlord scoffed. So you are violent. That is not unique. Mara turned to him. No, she said quietly. What is unique is what we do after we lose. The images zoomed in. Damaged tanks rebuilt. Old ships modified. Weapons redesigned from failure. When humans lose, Mara said, we adapt faster than our enemies expect. The officer who had pulled up the data swallowed hard. Is this why the rating is so high? He asked. Mara shook her head. That is only part of it. She faced the assembly fully now. Earth is hazard level 15 because humans do not stop when they should, she said. We fight when wounded. We stand when afraid. We protect even when logic says to run. The chamber was silent. Then the avian commander asked the question no one wanted to ask. And what happens, he said, when someone attacks Earth? Mara did not answer right away. She looked up at the flashing red lights, at the warning icons, at the fear in faces that had once been proud. You are about to see, she said. At that moment, the blue-skinned officer cried out. The unknown fleet has crossed into Earth's outer system. The assembly erupted again. How large? Whose ships are they? Can Earth defend itself? The officer checked the data, confused. The fleet is small, he said. Only a scouting force. Relief passed through some of the council members. A small force? The stone warlord laughed. Then this proves our point. Earth is not a threat. Mara's expression tightened. That, she said softly, is their first mistake. She turned back to the council. They think Earth is weak, she continued. They think humans will panic. Her eyes were steady. They are wrong. The alarms pulsed faster. On the screen, the unknown fleet moved closer to the blue-green world labeled Earth. Mara spoke one final warning. Whoever sent those ships, she said, has just tested the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. The screen zoomed in. Earth filled the display. Small, blue, quiet, and very, very awake. The Galactic Assembly watched in uneasy silence as the unknown fleet moved closer to Earth. The ships were sharp and dark, built for speed, not caution. Their hulls carried the mark of the Vraxian Dominion, a rising power known for quick conquests and total control. They did not send diplomats. They did not send warnings. They sent force. A tall counselor clenched his claws. The Vraxians, he said. They are arrogant, but not foolish. Captain Mara Hale did not look away from the screen. They believe numbers matter more than understanding, she said. That belief has ended many empires. The image shifted. The Vraxian ships crossed. Earth's outer defense line. There was no panic. No wild firing. No loud threats. Earth satellites moved quietly into position. Old machines, scarred and patched, awakened from orbit. Signals passed between them in short, tight bursts. The Vraxians laughed. Their commander's voice echoed through the open channel, filled with confidence. This is Vraxian space now, he declared. Your world is claimed. Surrender and you will be allowed to serve. On Earth, there was no immediate reply. The Vraxian commander smiled. See? He said to his officers. They are afraid. In the assembly hall, a few aliens nodded. Perhaps the human exaggerates. One whispered. Mara closed her eyes for a brief moment. On the screen, Earth responded. Not with words, but with movement. Defense platforms adjusted angles. Civilian traffic vanished from space lanes. Hidden stations powered up. The Vraxian commander frowned. Scan again. He ordered. The officer beside him stiffened. Energy spikes detected, the officer said. From civilian zones? The commander scoffed. Pathetic. They are converting factories into weapons. On Earth, cities went dark by choice. Lights shut off. Signals went silent. The planet looked calm. Too calm. In the assembly, a data analyst whispered. They are reducing their signal footprint. Mara opened her eyes. They are making themselves hard to see, she said. We learned long ago that loud targets die first. The Vraxians advanced. Then Earth fired. Not a barrage, not a storm, just one precise strike. A small defense satellite, dismissed as outdated, released a focused pulse. It hit the lead Vraxian ship directly through its navigation core. The ship did not explode. It simply drifted. Dead. The Vraxian bridge went silent. What was that? The commander snapped. Before the answer came, another pulse struck, then another. 3 ships disabled. Clean. Efficient. The Vraxian fleet scattered in confusion. Return fire. The commander roared. Plasma bolts slammed into Earth's upper atmosphere. They burned bright but did little damage. Earth did not chase. Earth waited. The Vraxians regrouped and fired again. Stronger this time. That was when Earth changed tactics. Hidden launch bays opened across the planet. Old fighters some decades old rose into orbit. Their designs were rough. Their paint faded, but they moved with purpose. In the assembly, an armored giant frowned. Those ships are outdated. Mara nodded. Yes, she said. Which is why they are unpredictable. The human fighters did not fly in formation. They scattered. They darted. They vanished behind debris, moons, and shadows. The Vraxian targeting system struggled. They are everywhere. An officer shouted. Then the humans struck again. From behind. From below. From angles the Vraxians did not expect. Each attack was small. But together, they wore the fleet down. The Vraxian commander's voice grew strained. How are they coordinating? He demanded. On Earth, a simple answer passed through human networks. Adapt. Improvise. Survive. In the assembly, fear replaced doubt. They are learning, the insect queen whispered. Even now, Mara watched the screen, her hands clenched behind her back. This is still not our real response, she said. A council leader turned sharply. Ben, what is this? Mara's voice was steady. This is us testing them. On the screen, Earth's fighters pulled back suddenly. The Vraxians hesitated. Are they retreating? Someone asked. Mara shook her head. No, she said. We are inviting them closer. The Vraxian commander took the bait. Advance. He shouted. Finish this. The fleet pushed deeper toward Earth. In the assembly hall. The warning icon beside Earth pulsed brighter. Hazard level 15. Mara spoke softly, almost to herself. They just made their second mistake. And far above Earth, something massive began to move. Something the Vraxians had never detected. Not a weapon. Trap. The Vraxian fleet moved closer to Earth. Confident once more, they believed the humans were retreating. They believed fear had finally taken hold. From orbit, Earth looked peaceful. Clouds drifted slowly. The blue oceans reflected sunlight like glass. There were no massive weapons firing. No great fleets rising to meet the invaders. The Vraxian commander smiled. They are finished, he said. Prepare for landing operations. In the Galactic Assembly, several alien leaders watched nervously. They are letting the enemy approach the surface, one whispered. That is suicide. Captain Mara Hale did not react. On Earth, millions of humans were already moving. Cities were quiet, not with panic, but with order. Emergency plans long prepared were now active. Trains carried people underground. Factories shifted roles in minutes. Civilian networks became support, lines for soldiers. This was not chaos. This was practice. The Vraxians began their descent. Landing ships cut through the atmosphere, leaving bright scars in the sky. Plasma fire struck coastal defenses, destroying old towers and burning empty fields. Empty. The Vraxians did not notice that. First, they landed where cities should have been alive and loud. Instead, they found silence. Where are the civilians? An officer asked. The commander frowned. Search the area. Capture anyone you find. Then the ground exploded. Hidden charges detonated beneath the landing zones. Dirt, fire, and metal ripped through the Raxian lines. Human defenders rose from tunnels and ruined structures. Moving fast and without hesitation, they wore mixed-gear-old armor plates, repaired weapons. Even tools turned into arms. They fought hard. They fought smart. In the assembly hall. The footage shocked everyone. These are not elite soldiers, an alien gasped. Some of them are civilians. Mara nodded once. On Earth, she said, when our homes are threatened, everyone becomes a defender. The Vraxians pushed back with superior firepower. Human positions were destroyed. Many fell, but the humans did not stop. They pulled wounded fighters to safety. Others stepped into their place without orders. Every loss was noted. Every failure was shared. Human commanders adjusted tactics in real time. The Vraxians began to slow. They are supposed to break. The Vraxian commander snarled. Why do they keep standing? Because humans have learned something long ago. Breaking was not the same as losing. In orbit. The hidden movement began. A massive structure, once mistaken for space debris, shifted its position. It was not new. It was old. Built from mining platforms and abandoned stations welded together. The graveyard net. Last resort defense. Vraxian ships advanced straight into it. Suddenly, engines failed. Ships collided. Signals vanished. What is happening? The commander shouted. Gravity traps activated, pulling ships off course. Human boarding teams launched, not to destroy, but to disable. They learned as they fought. Vraxian weapons were studied. Vraxian shields were tested. Human losses continued, but instead of fear, something else spread. Determination. In the assembly, silence ruled. These humans are bleeding, the insect queen said. Yet they grow more dangerous. Mara's voice was quiet. Because pain teaches us, she said. The Vraxian commander ordered a full withdrawal. It was too late. Human forces closed in. Coordinated now, sharper than before. This was no longer defense. It was adaptation. On Earth's surface, battered human fighters raised a simple signal. We are still here. The Galactic Assembly finally understood. Earth was not winning because it was strong. Earth was winning because humanity does not break. And as the Vraxian fleet fell back in disarray, a deeper fear settled in the hall. If this was humanity holding back, what would happen if they stopped? The battle slowed, but the danger did not. Across Earth's orbit, broken Vraxian ships drifted like silent warnings. Some burned as they fell into the atmosphere. Others spun helplessly, their systems dead. The Galactic Assembly watched every second. No one spoke. Captain Mara Hale stood with her hands behind her back, her eyes fixed on the display. The fear in the hall was no longer hidden. It sat heavy, pressing against every species present. A council leader finally broke the silence. Enough, he said. Explain it clearly. Why is Earth marked hazard level 15? Mara turned to face them. Because, she said, you are not watching our strongest weapons. She gestured to the screen. You are watching our response. The image shifted to Earth's surface. Human fighters moved through ruined streets. Their armor was damaged. Their faces were tired. Blood stained the ground, yet they kept going. When humans are attacked, Mara said, we do not search for victory first. We search for survival. The stone-skinned warlord crossed his arms. Survival alone does not earn such a rating. Mara nodded. Correct. Survival is only the beginning. The screen changed again. Human engineers worked under fire, repairing weapons using broken parts. Soldiers shared data between units in seconds. Tactics changed every few minutes. We learn faster than we should, Mara said. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every loss becomes a plan. The insect queen's voice was low. You are improving, during battle. Yes, Mara replied. We always do. In orbit, human ships began moving with new patterns. Their attacks were cleaner. Their timing sharper. The Vraxians noticed too late. They've changed their formations, a Vraxian officer shouted. They're targeting our weak points. Human strikes became surgical, not loud. Not brutal. Efficient. VR as Sean's shield nodes failed one by one. Command ships lost control. Panic spread through their ranks. This is impossible, the Vraxian commander growled. They were disorganized an hour ago. Mara spoke softly. An hour ago, she said. We were learning. The assembly understood now. Hazard level 15 was not about how humans fought at the start. It was about how they fought later. A council member whispered, if they can adapt this fast, what happens in a long war? Mara met his eyes. There is no such thing as a short war with humans, she said. On the screen, Earth launched its counterstrike. Not massive fleets. Not planet-killing weapons. Just precise pressure. Human forces cut off retreat paths. Communication relays were disabled. The Vraxian fleet was pushed into a slow collapse. The Vraxian commander shouted orders, his confidence gone. Fall back. All ships fall back. Some ships escaped. Many did not. The battle ended. Earth still stood. The assembly hall remained silent. Finally, the avian commander spoke. If Earth had attacked first, he said carefully, would we have survived? Mara did not answer right away. Then she said, that is why we try not to attack first. She turned back to the display. Earth's hazard rating glowed brighter than before. Hazard level 15. Confirmed. Mara folded her hands calmly. This rating exists, she said. So the galaxy remembers one truth. The council leaned forward. When humans are pushed, Mara finished, we do not become monsters. Her eyes hardened. We become better at war. The battle around Earth was over. What remained were drifting wrecks, broken signals, and the quiet aftermath that followed violence. Human ships returned to orbit, scarred but intact. Rescue teams moved fast, pulling survivors from damaged vessels, human and Vraxian alike. That detail did not go unnoticed. In the Galactic Assembly Hall, the silence was heavy. No one mocked the small human woman anymore. The massive screen showed Earth stabilizing its defenses. Systems reset. Civilians began returning to the surface. Life continued not in celebration, but in recovery. A council elder finally spoke. They could have destroyed every remaining enemy ship, he said slowly. Why did they stop? Captain Mara Hawley answered without pride. Because the threat ended, she said. And unnecessary destruction teaches nothing. Several alien leaders exchanged uneasy looks. The insect queen lowered her antennae. They are showing mercy, she whispered. After learning how to kill us. Mara nodded once. That is also part of our hazard rating. On the screen, a human medical ship docked with a damaged Vraxian cruiser. Injured invaders were being treated. The stone-skinned warlords stared. They care for their enemies? Yes, Mara replied. Not always, but often enough. The assembly struggled to understand. A data analyst stepped forward, voice tight. Human battle efficiency increased by 40% during the conflict, he reported. Adaptation speed exceeded all known models. A murmur spread through the hall. This means, the avian commander said, that prolonged war with Earth would only make them more dangerous. Mara met his gaze. That is why Earth avoids war, she said. Not because we fear it, but because we know what it turns us into. The words settled like a warning. The council leader rose from his platform. The galaxy underestimated you, he admitted. We saw a small species and assumed weakness. He looked around the hall. We were wrong. For the first time, An official symbol appeared beside Earth's name. Reclassified. Strategic threat. Potential ally. The assembly reacted with mixed emotions: fear, respect, and something close to awe. A junior counselor asked carefully, "What does Earth want now?" Mara did not hesitate. "To be left alone," she said, "and to be understood." She turned slightly, facing the hall. "We do not seek conquest. We do not want your worlds. But if you come to ours—" She let the sentence end on its own. No one knew it had finished. The Vraxian retreat signal echoed faintly across the screen, broken, desperate. Their empire had learned a lesson it would never forget. In the assembly, the same realization spread. The galaxy had just witnessed a truth that could not be unseen. Humans did not dominate by force alone. They dominated by learning faster than fear. Captain Mara Hollis stood quietly as the council updated Earth's records. No applause. No celebration. Only silence. Because every species in the room understood the same thing now. The smallest woman in the hall spoke for the most dangerous kind of civilization, the Galactic. Assembly did not end that day. No one rushed to leave. No one spoke loudly. The massive hall that once echoed with laughter now felt small, almost fragile. Captain Mara Hollis stood at the center, waiting. A high-ranking council leader stepped forward, his long robes dragging across the floor. "Captain Hall," he said carefully, "the galaxy owes Earth an apology. A few cycles ago, such words would have been unthinkable. Now, they felt necessary. One by one, alien representatives lowered their heads. Some bowed. Others placed claws or hands over their chests, a sign of respect among many worlds. The same beings who had laughed at her. Sighs now avoided her eyes. "We mocked what we did not understand," the avian commander said. "We judged strength by appearance." Mara listened, silent. The insect queen spoke next, her voice soft. "Earth is frightening, but not in the way we feared." Mara finally replied. "Fear is not our goal," she said. "Memory is." The council leader nodded. "The Vraxian Dominion has formally withdrawn all claims against Earth," he announced. "They request distance." A faint shift passed through the hall. Distance was not a request made lightly. Furthermore, the leader continued, "The Council proposes a defense alliance with Earth. Shared technology. Shared protection." Whispers broke out. An alliance with a hazard level 15. World was unheard of. All eyes returned to Mara. She did not answer right away. Instead, she looked at the screen showing Earth's guard, alive and calm. "Earth does not want to rule the galaxy," she said at last. "We do not want tribute or control." She turned back. "We only want one thing." The hall waited. Do not mistake restraint for weakness. Mara said. Silence followed. Then the stone-skinned warlord spoke, his voice low. "And if another empire ignores this warning—" Mara met his gaze. "Then they will learn," she said simply. The council updated Earth's classification again. Status: do not provocate. Word spread across every major network in the galaxy. Military academies recorded the battle. Strategists rewrote their models. Explorers marked Earth's sector with caution. Mockery was replaced with fear. Fear was replaced with respect. As the session finally ended, representatives began to leave. None brushed past Mara. None joked. They made space for her. A junior officer, the same one who had first pulled up Earth's data, hesitated before speaking. "Captain Hala," he said quietly, "if Earth is so dangerous, why send only one person?" Mara paused. She looked back at him. "Because," she said, "if one human can change your mind." She gave a small, tired smile. Imagine what billions could do. She turned and walked toward the exit. Behind her, The Galactic Assembly remained still. They had mocked a small human woman. Now they feared an entire species. The Galactic Assembly Hall slowly emptied. Great doors closed behind towering figures, one by one. Armored warriors, ancient rulers, and powerful commanders left in silence. No laughter followed them. No loud voices. Only quiet footsteps and heavy thoughts. Captain Mara Hale remained for a moment longer. She stood alone in the center of the vast chamber, the place where she had been mocked, laughed at, and dismissed. Now, the space felt different. Not friendly. Not welcoming. Respectful. A final council official approached her. His steps careful. "Captain Hale," he said. "Earth's records have been updated across all galactic systems." A large display activated above them. Planet. Earth classification. Hazard level 15 status. Do not provoke notes. High adaptation rate. Extreme resilience. Unpredictable. Response. Mara studied the words. "They will remember," the official said. For a long time, Mara nodded. "That is enough." Far away, near Earth's orbit, the last signs of battle faded. Human ships moved slowly among the wreckage, collecting survivors and debris. Some Vraxian soldiers resisted at first. Others were too tired to fight. Many expected revenge. They did not receive it. Instead, they were treated, fed, guarded. A wounded Vraxian officer stared at the human medic tending his injuries. "Why?" he asked weakly. "We attacked your world." The medic did not stop working. "Because you're no longer a threat," she said. "And because we don't win by becoming what we hate." The Vraxian said nothing after that. On Earth, the news spread quickly. Cities repaired damaged streets. Families returned from shelters. Memorials were built for the fallen, not with anger, but with quiet honor. Human leaders met, not to celebrate, but to prepare. They reviewed data, studied the enemy's tactics, improved defenses again. Earth had survived, but Earth never assumed that meant safety. Back in the Galactic Assembly, emergency sessions continued for days. Military analysts replayed the battle frame by frame. They changed strategy mid-fight. One analyst said, "They learned enemy behavior in real time," said another. "They used outdated equipment and made it dangerous," a third added. A senior strategist leaned back, troubled. "If Earth ever becomes hostile," he said, "we will not survive a long war." No one argued. New rules were written. Do not threaten Earth. Do not surround Earth. Do not test Earth. And most importantly, never underestimate humans. The Vraxian Dominion held its own council soon after. Their empire was shaken. Entire fleets had been lost, not crushed instantly. But outthought, the Vraxian commander who led the invasion stood before his rulers. Stripped of rank, "We believed humans were weak," he said. "We believed fear would break them." He raised his head slowly. "They do not break. They sharpen." The Dominion ordered a full retreat from all. Nearby sectors. Earth was erased from conquest maps. Some worlds were not worth the cost. Captain Mara Hale returned to Earth quietly. There were no parades, no loud speeches. She walked through familiar streets, watched children play, listened to normal sounds of life. This was what she had fought for. Later, she stood before Earth Council. "The galaxy knows now," one leader said. "They fear us." Mara shook her head. "They respect us," she said. Fear fades. Respect lasts longer. A general frowned. "And if one day they forget?" Mara's answer was calm. "Then they'll remember again." Weeks passed. Trade slowly resumed. Diplomatic messages arrived, carefully written, polite, cautious. Earth responded with equal care. No threats. No boasting. Just boundaries. In distant systems, stories spread about a small human woman who stood alone among giants. About a planet that learned faster than it fought. about a species that turned pain into progress. Young alien cadets studied the footage. What should we learn from this? One asked. The instructor replied with a single sentence: never judge a species by its size. One quiet cycle later, Captain Mara Hale returned to the Galactic Assembly, not as a defendant, but as an observer. This time, when she entered the hall, the room stood, not out of fear, out of understanding. She took her seat and listened as the council debated future conflicts, future risks, future mistakes. Earth was no longer ignored. Earth was consulted. At the end of the session, the council leader spoke one final time. Captain Hale, he said, what should the galaxy remember most about humanity? Mara considered the question. She looked around the hall at beings who once laughed and now listened. Remember this, she said slowly. Humans are not the strongest. We are not the fastest. We are not the most advanced. She paused. But when the universe pushes us into a corner, her voice hardened just enough. We push back harder every time. The hall remained silent. The warning had been delivered. Far away, Earth turned in the light of its star. Blue, fragile, alive, a small planet, by galactic standards, but marked forever in the records of countless worlds. Hazard. Level 15, not because it sought war. But because it learned how to survive it better than anyone else. And the galaxy would never forget the day it laughed until it understood why it should not.